Yeah.
Okay. Sean?
Proposal to use Andy for the next council.
Could I just come in on that, Chair? If we are going to have a councillor, you've got to bear in mind that the staff salaries, which are confidential, so you're more likely to look for personnel committee members, i.e. the chair or something like that. No offence, Andy.
But I understand all council are responsible for finances, aren't they? So it wouldn't be a better council, it would be better confidential.
I understand what you're saying, yeah. That's... So you're proposing that?
Proposal, yes, to put him on as on the books into finance, yeah.
So there's a proposal on the table then for Andy to be councillor. That's the agreed action.
So can I just make one? I mean, I wasn't suggesting it needs to be a councillor. I was just highlighting.
Yeah, you were just finding out about...
whether
Yeah. Can I get a second? Sorry, what?
I don't think we can vote on this here. I think we just accepted the minutes of the F&GP where we said it's going to be a staff issue. I mean, there's 3 people in the office, and the unlikely event that 2 are going to be off sick. I think it might be something to look into in the future F&GP meeting as an emergency thing. If all 3 members of staff get COVID at the same time, then it might be necessary to nominate somebody like the chair of personnel or somebody to do that. But I don't really think this is something that we can decide here because we just accepted wanting to minutes.
I think you're right that point, Bob, personally. So on that basis...
It does say to decide any further course, any further action required. So I thought we were covered for doing something different.
So the item that we're on, to review recommendations made by the internal auditor for the year ending 31st March 2025 and decide any further action required.
So going back to the auditor.
So it's going back?
Yeah, so it's decide first to decide a course of action in terms of what we would recommend back to the auditor. Because these are just recommendations. But I do see Councillor Moore's point.
Okay. Sarah?
Just on that, you're not on a point of standing orders, it just to reinforce what John said. We've just accepted the minutes, which has taken a certain decision. You can't change a decision within 6 months of it being taken. So it's out of order, I would say.
Yes. And that's how when John made the point, that's how I was seeing it as well. So with the minutes having just been approved in F&GP, in those minutes, it would be going against the decision that was
just on that basis, we couldn't have a 3rd member of staff either.
I think this might be what I need to say today. It's a really fair point because we run an action plan and we run our recommendations of the auditor. And the action plan is part of a recommendation from the auditor, but it does then conflict, as Sarah's just pointed out. So, Chair, I am happy to take that back to the auditor and just obviously raise that as a conflict.
So
it does make sense saying it out loud.
From the Chair then, I'll put that forward as the proposal and we go back to the auditor for further advice on how we can action that based on technically the anomaly that we're experiencing in the meeting then. If that's okay.
It is. Could I add an extra point?
Yeah.
Or perhaps a query to the auditor. But as we're only having staff as dual control, is it appropriate to have a member of the personnel committee do a quarterly review on salary payments, and because that is something that should be overseen? And also, is it appropriate for that member of the personnel committee to be the 3rd person in the instance of sickness? Because of perhaps the level of authority of other staff in the office.
So that's the third query you want to go back to the auditor?
Yes, yeah, it's some thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that. It is proven to be confusing, so yeah.
Yeah. Everyone okay with that? Yeah. So proposals on the table to go back to the auditor. I've proposed that from the chair based on the standing orders. Sean seconded. Votes in favour, please, of that. Thank you very much. Okay. So item 88, to receive an update on Low Ackworth playing field lease progression. I'll hand over to Gemma.
Yes, so, sorry, Chair, 1 moment. So this is more about an update as to where it's at now rather than the finer detail. So we've got a current outstanding action in place which allows myself delegated power over the Whitehall Police in conjunction with Councillor Andy Sherritt, John Bell and Ian Moore. Between the last meeting and this meeting, we all received the latest version of the lease, and we all had the opportunity to review it and pose any further questions that we had on that copy of the lease. Councillor Andy Sherritt put forward some questions. I wasn't able to answer with the information that I had, so the right thing was to put them back to the solicitors, which we did. So they went back to our solicitors and they put it back over to Wakefield Council solicitors. So it is currently still, again, with Wakefield Council solicitors, and that's where it's at as of now. So we are currently playing a bit of a game of tennis, backwards and forwards. Obviously everyone's got the best intentions that the lease is completely right for us and allows us to do what we want to do with the lease in the future. So as I said, and I've kept my word, I will keep it on every agenda until it is across the line. So that is the verbal update that I can give today.
Excellent, thank you very much. I'll bring Sarah in first then, sure.
Thank you. Thanks, Jen, for that. Can I ask, have you had any response? Because at the last meeting, I think we asked you to contact various councillors with various responsibilities, and I think we said the MP as well and the council leader. Can't remember the whole list. But have you had any response from any of those people?
So all of that happened within the last couple of months, so I haven't had to escalate it because it was moving.
Right.
But I have got the right details now of who I would need to raise it higher than my current contact, should I need to. But Wakefield Council haven't had it back in their court for long enough yet.
Right.
Because like I say, all of that I've just explained has happened within the last meeting to this meeting.
Okay.
Can I just follow up on that then?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know, my issue and my point in raising that was really about it having taken so long, about the 9 years that we've been on with this, and to bring that to the attention of relevant people, particularly when I was making inquiries of other peak councils that I know about who we should be contacting. One of the councils from a different area said she's been on with a similar thing for 8 years. So it was really, you know, on that basis that I suggested that should happen, that those emails should be sent, letters should be sent.
I mean, I am happy to do that. I think I was just very conscious that I don't want to cause too much upset within Wakefield Council because it is moving, because I have done that previously where I've gone all guns blazing, raising it here and there when I first started, and I almost felt like I got put to the bottom of the list, so I was kind of trying to keep it as an ace up my sleeve should I need to, aware that that is an action and I've got the delegated authority to do that. I suppose that's my rationale there, if I'm honest. I'm trying to play all advantages that I can.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Yeah, sure.
Can I just ask councillors, can I refresh my memory please? Is the lease conditional on getting planning permission? Because that's what we need for like community centre.
The lease,
Is it conditional on getting planning permission?
the planning permission for the new centre would be different to the lease. We need the lease anyway because we need the lease.
The lease needs to be conditional. Not accept lease unless we've got granted planning permission to accept.
I'm not dealing with that side of it, I'm just dealing with the lease.
My understanding is not. So the lease is based on. So it's about the community centre being there. It's about the playground. It's about the football pitch that's down there.
Yeah.
So we need that lease to be sorted before any planning permission can be put in.
The lease should be
So it's a chicken and egg situation.
conditional. Getting the necessary planning permission means that the agreement to rent, to lease the land from Wakefield Council only becomes legally binding once the Parish Council have secured planning permission. We could do that, it should be done I think. Because if what happens if Wakefield states that we want to sublease it and we can't, or we can't get planning permission?
Well, we would have the lease that we're going for would be about having the sublease. That's what the lease is about. It's about saying we would have that permission. That's what we're trying to get permission for. That's what Wakefield Council are getting mixed up with, as we've discussed many times. Then they tried saying that the community building down there before it was in the state that it's in. They were trying to say that that was a changing room, which it isn't. It's never been a changing room. So it's these things that we've been battling with, and that's what we're dealing with. And it's that lease we're trying to get right, so it actually states what we're leasing. And again, that's what we've been battling with.
What we gain from leasing that land except expenses of maintaining it land, it lasts 10 years.
But part of those expenses are the playground equipment, and surely you want to say that that's not an investment. That's an investment in the community.
Wakefield Council has to provide playground equipment in any case, but the football pitch is a waste of space, it's funny.
But kids do play on that, and I do believe that we do get some pitch fees from that.
We've got Ackworth juniors that train every Saturday.
So again, that's an investment, and that is the right thing to do. And that's again another reason why we need to secure the lease. But we don't need planning permission for that. That's my understanding.
We do for community centre.
We do, but that.
So
I was just going to say that's run by an association, and it would be them putting the planning permission. It wouldn't be us as a parish council.
Yeah, but we've got an implied tenancy on that land, so I believe that we're responsible for insurance and everything. Do we know whether they're insured for public liability?
You mean community building?
Yeah.
I'm not as part of that association.
We should know we've got liability next year, people.
My understanding is that they have all the appropriate insurances, and hang on, Sean, one person at a time. You're asking me a question, so. And basically, I know that the Low Ackworth Community Association have come back with assurances and said that they've got that. I have no reason to mistrust that. On what reason would we mistrust that? We wouldn't. So on that, we're going to move forward. We need to progress forward with. I think we've said enough. There we go. So to receive an update on Low Ackworth playing field lease progression. So that's the update. So on that, I'm going to move forward to the next one. So we're receiving that update. We've already done item 89. Item 90. To receive further update on expressions of interest received relating to the neighbourhood plan and decide course of action. Okay, so we've had total of 14 responses. Yeah. Sorry about that. Total of 14 responses. Council decide how to proceed. I take comments from Sarah.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether everyone around the table is aware, but in the government guidelines about neighbourhood plans, it clearly states that where there's a town or parish council, the town or parish council is responsible for neighbourhood planning. So whatever decision we take about how to move forward, this parish council is ultimately responsible for that. So we can't just hand it over to a self-selected group, let them get on with it basically, because we are responsible, and it would have presumably staff resource implications too if we go down that route. So, and I think there is a lot more, there's a lot of guidance, a lot of things involved, a lot of things you have to do, consultations, blah, 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 blah. I think the worst thing we could do would be to, like I say, we've got these 14 people, let them form a group and then get on with it and sort of stand back, because I think in that situation we'd be in danger of expectations being raised about what might be possible, and then we be in a position of saying, well, sorry, no, this is what a neighbourhood plan has to look like, this is what's possible. And we could be back, I know I'm going to harken back, in a position that we have been before, where people can say, Ackworth Parish Council, they shut it all down, they close it all down, they're not for the community, etc., etc. So I'd like to propose that will be staff time, but the parish council, the parish council through the clerk, the member of staff, convenes a meeting of those 14 volunteers, and if there are any parish councils who wish to attend, that they can be included too, and that we invite, because I do believe there's somebody at Wakefield Council whose responsibility it is to oversee these things. I think they put it out last time round. They put it out to some, organisation, some third sector organisation. But anyway, that we convene a meeting, going through Wakefield Council to find the qualified person with the right knowledge to give advice and guidance about how you go about drawing up a neighbourhood plan, and that could be a starting point. Do you want to write, is that clear? Do you want to write that down?
Sorry, I realised I was just staring at you. It will have been all recorded,
Okay.
so I will be able to minute it from the recording. So
that's a proposal.
Yeah, so that's a proposal on the table. Can I get a seconder for that? Nathan seconder. Any more comments?
Yes, we know
Sue?
a couple of other people that I don't think have been in touch yet. So,
I'll write some more correspondence to come in. Okay. Let's go.
sorry,
Yeah,
Joe, is that someone that you're going to push our... Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The first meeting, the last time it started, the hall was quite full. Only a lot of people did turn up. It doesn't really seem to be very well advertised in the village.
This time round, sorry, Joe. This time round.
Sorry?
You were about this time round than last time.
This time. It wasn't very much last time, but it still got a lot of interest. I
Yes.
think Walton Parish Council were the only one in the Wakefield district to get a neighbourhood plan.
Yes.
Also the work was done by volunteers, and then it just stopped. I was told it was still in process, but nothing happened.
I know that they're not a strict, it's not just a case of drawing up what we'd like for our neighbourhood. It has to go through Wakefield Council, and they have to agree to it. And the Parish Council has a responsibility, as Sarah's pointed out, and they're some of the things that we need to take on board, is what I would say.
I mean, my proposal is specifically for the people who put the names forward, not an openly publicised come-along meeting, so that it's a manageable group with a focus on the plan. If it is decided from there to go to a wider thing, then that'll be something that could happen. But my proposal is that a meeting for the people who put the names forward, plus any parish councillors who wish to attend. That's my proposal.
So it's dealing with what we've got at the minute and taking that forward, yes. Okay. Any other? So we've got a proposal on the table with seconder. I'll move to a vote.
Chair, sorry, just before you do move to a vote, if there's no councillors that are attending with 14 residents and it's staff-led, I wouldn't be in a position where I know what it is that we're asking them to do or what we're talking about. It's not clear.
The proposal is it's a meeting to invite somebody along to explain
From Wakefield
what is
Council.
involved.
Okay.
It would that meeting wouldn't have any decision-making powers because it's just a group of people.
So it would be dependent on Wakefield Council representative attending. Thank you for clarifying. That must be the bit I missed when I was staring at towards you.
So it's like Wakefield Council will be giving advice on what neighbourhood plan is, what it does, how to get it together, all that stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I'll move for a vote then. Votes in favour of that action being taken forward. All in favour? Oh yes. Item 91 then. To further review a request to consider support with a donation to Ackworth Senior Citizens Fund under section 107 grants for the annual Christmas tea. Is there any, because obviously we have a fund in finances still for grants. How much we got left? Because I know we have given grants out and obviously we want to try and keep within budget and not go over.
How votes for the only people that have been grant this year, so I want to say there's either 1,500 or 2,000, which I know is probably not helpful right now, Chair.
Okay. 1,500, 2,000 figures it.
Works was 1,500 to be safe.
In reserve.
I can
Yeah.
look downstairs on the
No.
floor.
Yeah, it's okay, I think. Andy, I'll bring you in first.
Obviously, we've got the information about how much money the people that organise it have got. How much does I can't remember. I think we discussed it last year, but I can't remember how much does it cost them to put that loan
It's not £2,500.
2,500.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
So I think we gave them half of it last year. Yeah.
With the price of food going up a lot and all the costs, so that's probably say it's 3,000 a week now, which would take away most of the money. But so they do need something to have in front of it. It's been a feature of this village for many years, and it's not likely to fold before Christmas 2026.
No. No. I mean, again, I think I can speak for all of us. I think we're all in favour of, supporting this event and everything. We all know how well attended it is, but obviously we've got to be responsible as well at the same time.
Where they might not need it actually for this Christmas, maybe in the middle of the year.
But then it's a
to give them the
consideration.
fires and-
But then it's a consideration for the budget in April, isn't it?
We need to give them something this year, I think.
Okay.
I understand we give them £1,000 last
Sorry?
year. I understand we give them £1,000 last year, but I propose we give them £1,500 this year because they look after the citizens, all senior citizens of the village. And it's a good thing and everybody enjoys it.
Okay, that's a proposal from Sean. I'll take that. So that's £1,500 to be given out grants towards it. Do I have a seconder for that? Stephen seconded. Any other comments before we move in?
So the point is the